The second I get it running, I'm just gonna rip. I'm gonna try and stay high. I don't know if that's gonna help, but
well, hopefully once it's running.
Now I've got to start out this video with a little bit of a mea culpa. Please understand that the video contained herein and the story is no admission of guilt. I don't own any of this. It never happened. You don't have any records. But what happens here? Well, let's just say it happened in the spirit of racing and from the heart of a father, and we can all agree that in the moment with racing that sometimes your brain just don't work properly and things happen. So let's go over this one piece at a time.
Take mine.
you sure?
Yeah, go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, like every other amateur storyteller that's not good at exposition, this story requires us to go back and forth in time a little bit. Some of you might be irritated by that, but this is my story, so here we are. First question, Daniel, that's a 6 start. Why are you in the hole shot? You can't possibly be faster than everybody. You're clearly not that good of a rider. I've ridden with you. Well, that's true. I'm dead last. Daniel, why are you dead last? Which, first of all, thank you for your graciousness and not just assuming that I'm dead last because I'm terrible. But secondly, I'm dead last because a bike wouldn't start. Now, it wasn't my bike, so why am I on this bike? Well, as you saw previously, I ended up giving my bike to my son, which honestly seemed like a great idea at the time, but as it turns out, wasn't that great of an idea, and quite possibly we broke all of the rules of racing. Now I'm going to take a second to dispel of an urban myth that may or may not be coming true, that I sabotaged my son's bike. You know, like an alternative to not fueling him up before his race. Which again, another urban myth. No truth behind it, we don't need to talk about it. But honestly, it's plausible, right? Except for the part where I take his bike, which we could put away to just being dumb in the moment and feeling bad about it. But realistically, it created a problem that I really hadn't had enough foresight to figure out in the moment. You'll notice that little white tag on the left part of the handlebars. That's one of the 3 pieces that you get marked during the race at different checkpoints. There's one on your helmet, one on the left part of your handlebars, and one on your fender. And when you come to the checkpoint, they mark it, and you need to have enough marks when you get to the end of the race. The second part, and the part that I didn't remember in the moment, was that the number on that tag is associated with your bib number, which, in the case when you're riding the bike that's not yours, does not match. So, if you're smart and good at foreshadowing, you can see where this is headed. But trust me, it doesn't go there, and sometimes, as I've learned very much in my current job, if you're going to break the rules, break them all and break them spectacularly, and it usually turns out in your favor because nobody can explain what you did and sound reasonable. Also, possibly don't make a video about it and post it on social media, but other than that, I think we're safe. So with all of that happening, it put me in a weird spot, one that I can't say that I've ever been in, not from best efforts. Starting dead last with 1,000 people in front of me. Well, honestly, between 900 and 1,000. We don't want to exaggerate here. So I got clean air to start the race, and then the air wasn't clean, and I spent pretty much the entire race trying to catch up, which, honestly, created my biggest problem. I was a little bit angry when I left, and I was riding maybe a little more aggressively than I normally would, given that the race is about 5.5 hours. I went pretty hard off the get-go, which will result in a funny turn of events or a funny happening as a result of pushing a little bit too hard. Now, I'll admit that after almost 9 minutes of kicking the bike and pushing the bike and trying to get it going and having a pretty big gap to make up, that it took me a while before I really got into the race. But then this happens. You'll notice that the guy on the left looks a lot like the guy at the beginning of the video, and that blue Yamaha looks a lot like my bike. Now, what are the odds that a guy that started 9 minutes behind, well, to be fair, 6 minutes behind James, would catch James in the first 22 miles, I believe, based on our video? So he pulls up, and then, honestly, this happens.
It's mostly running.
Thanks.
Good job.
Love you. How'd you catch up? You're mad, man.
Nice work. You wipe out?
Huh?
Did you
Yeah,
wipe?
I crashed once.
All right, let's roll. Love you.
Let's finish.
Oh, now that's a nice family wholesome moment. So what are the odds that that would happen? Honestly, pretty low, because we're roughly the same speed. But it's not the end of the funny. Now you'll notice here, I got going, and then I thought to myself, hey, you should stop and make sure that James is going. So James, following me, started going, and as he went by, gave me a thumbs up, and then just piled into the ground. And then as I pull up, he gave me a half thumbs up to indicate that he maybe wasn't all good, just mostly good. So now's all's well that ends well, right? We're on the right bikes and we're headed down the racetrack in the right direction at the right time in the middle of the crowd, so I guess no harm done. That's my official position and the one that I'm sticking with. Now for the next while here, me and James swapped spots a couple of times, but honestly it felt good to be back on my own bike. I'm a little more comfortable on it, and the suspension is set up a little bit more for me, and I'm pretty sure that he was glad to be on his bike. But as you'll see James pull up there, I go shooting by him again because the best spot to pass your kids is in the pits when somebody's holding them back, and that's just good parenting, and I'm not going to deny that. Now, it was a little flat starting off the race, but, once I started to catch the people, it took me probably 10 minutes before I started to catch the last rider. But once I got into the mix there and you start flying by people because you're passing all the slower riders, the competitive juices get going and you start flying. But my pacing got out of control, which is predominantly the reason why I finished where I do. It's not raw athleticism, I can tell you that. I'm almost 45 years old and my body's seen better days. But I am quite good at pacing, choosing exactly the speed that I can go at for an extended period of time, and that just got chucked out the window. I really wish that I had that better under control, but you'll start to see what happens here as a result of that in this next clip. James goes by me doing Mach 3. It's because I had slowed down. This is around mile 35. I needed to take a little bit of a break. I don't usually stop. I just slow down and kind of cruise. But James, to his credit, he's hauling there. He was giving her. So he was able to catch up, and I think that was the last time I saw him. He beat me to the pits by, I think, about 8 or 9 minutes, but then things like this happen too. I go down and I ball up. Why do you ball up in a tiny little fall off like that? I mean, it's not really that big of a drop off. I just got loose in the front end. I didn't have the strength to hold it up. I was just kind of cruising along at lower speeds, and in all honesty, a combination of a bike that's set up to race where the suspension kind of needs to be hit pretty hard in order to work, and just being a little bit tired at the moment and not paying attention created an issue for me. And mistakes, well, they kind of compound. For the sake of this video, they travel in packs of 3. But in the raw footage, it traveled in much larger packs. They are measured in half dozens to dozens. But going down into jagged rock or volcanic rock repeatedly, even if it's only 20 to 30 kilometers an hour predominantly, I think I did have one higher speed one. It just isn't good for your body. It isn't good for your fatigue. It hurts. You don't really feel it at the time, and that's kind of I think the message I gave to the two people that were helping us out in the pits as they're asking me how I was doing. I was like, well, quite honestly, I don't really know. I think we're going to find out in another 3 or 4 hours when I'm done the race. And true enough, is about an hour after the race, you start to feel everything that had happened through there just pile up. All the adrenaline goes away, and you kind of feel all of the wear and tear. This year was a bit of a weird year as far as wear wore on me. Typically, I don't feel that bad at the end of the race, a little bit worn out, but this year the arms and the chest wore out pretty quickly, and I'm not exactly sure why, maybe just a change in fitness, but here's the next accident, and a little bit lucky in this one. My arm got trapped down onto the throttle for a second. You can hear the bike rev up, but these two guys, super not impressed with the pile of dust that I made. I did find myself doing a lot of passes on the outside this year, taking different lines as people were blocking it because I had to fight through a lot more of the crowd. I had to do a lot of obscure passes, just going up lines that weren't there. And that one was a little open, but not super open. And I just got offline, and I'm a short-legged guy. I'm not that short, although 5'8". But I also have 27-inch legs, so when I start to tip over, I'm on a tall bike. You just go down. You have to accept that as a shorter guy, that you do put the bike down more often. But that one hurt a little bit. There were some jagged rocks. This hill climb was good. Did it twice. I'm not sure why people were struggling so much on it. It honestly seemed like a little bit of a clear shot. But I guess we all struggle at different places, maybe just fatigue. It is probably 35, 40 miles into the race. I love this hillside on the side. The area around Odessa is so neat. Mostly, it looks like post-volcanic. I don't know what the geography is in this area, but it's just beautiful. I enjoy coming here every year. The abuse that we put ourselves through is a little bit of maybe. But I just do love the area. It's just, I love the northern Arizona, New Mexico area as well, and this reminds me significantly of it. Not exactly, not as many cactuses, but overall very cool area, and just a wonderful event put on by the Stumpjumpers. So, you know, love the scenery, love the race. We really can't say enough thank you to the volunteers, the pumpkins there that we were checking in at each of the checkpoint. You know, the true heroes of the weekend. I can't imagine the volume of dust that it was bad on the bike, but just having people come up and brake and accelerate away from you in what was almost always a silty area. Oh man, if I saw you guys in a bar, I'd buy you a drink. But probably not, because I'm cheap. But I would offer, and hopefully you would decline. But I do think super highly of you guys, and the encouraging messages that they gave out. It helps, right? The last guy was telling me it's 9 miles to go, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. But it does help. So big thanks to you, and you know, hopefully we'll see you guys again in the future. So with all of that, what did we end up with for Carnage Report? Typically about 50% of the people that start this race finish. But we beat that odds this year, although we did have some pretty good mechanicals. But everybody either mechanical or finished. We had one wheel explode, not tire, wheel. And that was within a mile of the finish, so that was heartbreaking. He would have had to carry his bike over the end, which I'm not sure was possible at that point. We had one radiator explode or started to leak profusely, so that ended a race on mile 26. We had our under 15. He finished on a flat tire, where he had gotten a flat tire in mile, I believe, 9. So he did 41 miles on a flat tire and finished 21st out of his group, one out of the prizes. So great job to Oscar there. James did beat me. At the end here, we have a short clip post-finish. Stick around. You'll see some pictures of us, what we look like at the end of this race. Or not pictures, but video. And a short discussion we have sitting around the camping bus. But we had a great time. James obviously did beat me. We didn't get a chance for everybody to race to figure out where we finished, but overall the success rate was pretty high, and we really had a great time, despite all of the things that went wrong. And those are stories that we can tell around. Whoa, yeah, just slide sideways there. That was terrifying. This is about 2 miles from the finish, and you know, trying to make up some time. And I got into a 2-wheel slide there, and I reminded myself that I was 44 years old, and maybe chill out a little bit, because you're right at the finish. And it would be sweet if you actually made it there in one piece. I did not want to go down on mile 98, which, as we learned from mile 99, that's the tricky one. So thanks to anybody that stuck around for this length of the video. Like I said, do stick around for the end to kind of see what you look like at the end of this event. But to those that are here watching because you're at the desert, you guys are awesome. Anybody that goes to this event, even attempts it, much less finishes it, you guys are awesome. This is so hard, so very, very hard. And for those of you that are just here checking out my channel stuff, this is only half of the channel. The other half is a lot of CRF 300 and WR250R content, doing a lot more adventures. But hopefully we'll see you around later in the year. There's me finishing on the finish line, because that's the appropriate place to finish a race. And there's checking the tag. Hey, that would have been an embarrassing moment if we had the wrong number on there, wouldn't it have been? I just assumed that they just have a sniper on the stage somewhere that takes you out at that point. But here we are pulling up to the end, and thanks again for sticking around. It was an awesome event, despite all of the chaos. In fact, probably because of the chaos. So here we are coming to a close.
Great job, bud. Beat me in real time.
Thanks a lot for the help at the start. How'd you end up getting it started?
I got right beat up.
A yard sale, like 2 miles from the finish.